So my last video was on my IET experience for initial entry training. So as promised, I told you I'd give you a video about life after in Army initial training, which initial training is basic in IET. So um, everyone that's active duty, when you first get to basic training, they they let you have your suggestion on where you would want to be stationed. Um, when you're done with training. Honestly, I've only know a few people that actually got the duty station that they picked or that they wanted. It's not really something that's guaranteed. It's more of where does the Army need you in that situation. It's just one of the hidden secrets about the Army. Um, National Guard, you obviously know what your unit is, and reservists should know what your unit is. I know a couple people that had never been to the unit or anything like that before they left for basic, and um, you should get introduced to your unit within the first couple of days of you enlisting. The first time you go to MEPS and swearing, because that's technically when your contract starts for National Guard and reservists. And active duty, your contract starts the day you leave for basic. So I would say about midway through AIT, OSIT is probably the same way, like probably like towards the end of OSIT. People will find out their duty stations and stuff like that. So, I mean, some people were happy about it, some people weren't. I know a few people that went outside the country, to like Germany and South Korea and Italy, and then people in the U.S. They got stationed to like Fort Carson, um, Fort Hood, Fort Riley, Fort Drum, just all over the place. So I mean, you can go anywhere. Sky's the limit. Um, but yeah, that's basically what they do. When you get out of AIT, I'm pretty sure you get about a 10-day leave, and they also have this other program called hometown recruiting. And I don't remember how long you're home when you do hometown recruiting. I know it's a little longer, but I don't really know much about it. The only thing I do know is that the paperwork gets sent to your recruiter, and you can't really contact your recruiter about if um, they approve of you doing hometown recruiting. It's kind of something that they have to do on their own. And so then you find out when you get your orders if your leave's a little extended. But basically, hometown recruiting, what you do is it's basically like working at the recruiting office for a couple weeks. Usually the whole time, depending on, I don't know, I guess it depends on who your recruiter is. Um, and if they let you do it, how long they make you do it for, what they have you do, I don't know. Which is probably like paperwork and stuff like that, or sit around, I don't know. I know a couple of people that did it, but I myself didn't do it just because I'm a reservist. Um, so, you're on that leave, then you get introduced to your duty station, you have that whole in-processing and stuff like that. I don't really know what you're going to do at your duty station. I mean, it probably obviously depends on your MOS, like obviously wake up and do PT and then probably work all day, and then um, kind of like when you get out of work, that's kind of like you time. I don't know. I know that you get a lot more freedom when you get to your duty station, obviously, because you're not in training anymore, so you're not treated as a recruit. So you do what you gotta do during the day. It's kind of like just working an 8 to 4 job, and sometimes you might have to stay a little later, depending on, your job, your unit, your first sergeant or commander or something like that. If they have you staying a little longer, either way, ends up working out for the benefit. Um, and then pretty sure you get weekends off. Almost positive that you get weekends off, just like any other job. So, uh, then for National Guard and Reservists, it's 2 days a month, 2 weeks a year, unless you get put on some other orders. I know a couple of people that have been on training for other things where they needed a couple of people to go on, to help out another, like an active duty unit or something like that, so they put them on orders. Um, I don't know if that kind of like, I don't know if you can do AT and that, or if you can just do that and that kind of counts as your annual training, which is the 2 weeks. But for annual training, you could be doing all types of stuff. I know people that have gone outside the country, different states and things like that have trained. Fortunately, for my first AT, we had to move from one building to another, so we just had to pack up everything from the old building, move it to the new building. And that was kind of considered our annual training because we were going there every day for 2 weeks, just doing what we had to do because that was the mission for that. See, and for those of you who might be a little afraid of deploying at first, well, I mean, obviously everyone gets afraid, but for those that are kind of like really dreading it, I know quite a few people have already gone to Afghanistan. I know a few people that are almost done with their tours in Afghanistan. So it was like a couple people like they were at their duty station for like a few months and then they ended up deploying with the unit. I know some people that were only at their unit for like a week and then they shipped out right to Afghanistan. So sometimes you really don't know. The way that some people knew when we went is when we had our dentist appointment. I think if there's a certain classes, and if you're like a class 3, I think, or something like that, or 4, then that means that like whatever your issue is, that they need to resolve it like right then and there, just because your unit might be deploying soon or something like that, or if your dental work is very serious, if it requires immediate action, then they'll take care of that. We had a few people that had minor surgeries done to their teeth after we had all of our dentist appointments. I was a class 2, so I didn't have to do anything. They told me I was good, but a few other people just had to get mouth work done and root canals and stuff like that. So I still have my wisdom teeth. I know that they're probably going to pull those soon. It's just what they do. They find like the least thing that would probably bother you, and they just want to get rid of it before the problem happens. So, I mean, that's kind of how it is right now. I mean, it hasn't even been a full year since I've been out of initial entry training, but since I've been out of initial entry training, that's kind of how the life is after basic training. I mean, you probably want to talk to an active duty soldier if you know one about the Army life after training more than me, just because I'm a reservist. But just about the duty station wise, you get your duty station in the middle of like IET or in like towards the end of OSIT, and then with your unit you can deploy like ASAP if it's wartime. Sometimes you really don't know. You could go the whole contract without deploying. Everyone's different. And just one more thing that I didn't cover. Um, for families, if your husband or wife is going into the military, when they do to get to their duty station, the family can go with them, and they have I think they have on base and off base houses. I'm not 100% sure, but they do have housing so that you kind of like do your thing during the day, go home to your family. You can have your family move in with you and stuff like that. Like as long as the army should obviously know about family that you have. But I know some people that didn't tell the army about their family at first, and then they decided that they told them after. I don't know what really happened to them, but when you list your family on your paperwork before you leave for training, when you get to your duty station, they do move in with you. And this is gonna sound stupid, but I know that some people don't know this, or a few people don't know this, is that when you do get deployed, you go and your family stays. Your family cannot go with you when you go like to Afghanistan or something like that. They have to stay there. Like if I'm pretty sure the same applies. Like if you go like you get stationed in the U.S. or you get stationed in Korea. If you get stationed in like those areas, I'm pretty sure your family can move in with you if they choose to. But like obviously, like if you're going and getting deployed to a combat zone, they can't go with you. That's just the rule on that. So if there's anything else now that I didn't cover, just feel free to ask me questions. I'll try and answer to the best of my abilities, but I don't know everything about active duty. I don't really know much at all, just from a reservist point of view, plus I'm still new to the Army, so it's just going to be a little harder for me to answer the question. but if I know the answer to it, I'll definitely answer it. So that's about it. And then I'm gonna try making another video soon. I don't know what it's gonna be about yet, but I'll definitely keep